nestled among the rustling cornfields of Windmere, Iowa. A quiet town of just under 2,000 souls, life moved at a predictable rhythm. Church bells rang on Sundays, Main Street closed for parades, and everybody knew everybody else's name. So when Greg Halvorsen, the town's trusted accountant, vanished without a trace one late October evening in 2022, it was as if the heartbeat of Windmere skipped. Greg, 52, was dependable, always early to work, never missed his niece's soccer games, and spent Thursday evenings volunteering at the local VFW to help veterans file their taxes. He lived alone in a modest craftsman-style house, still wore a wristwatch, and drove a dented silver Buick that was as reliable as he was. On October 21st, Greg was last seen leaving his office just before 6 p.m. Surveillance footage from the bakery across the street caught him locking the door, briefcase in hand. He never made it home. When Greg didn't show up for work the next morning, his assistant, Delilah Marston, grew concerned. A quick call to his landline went unanswered. By noon, she had called the police. Sheriff Cole Randall, who had known Greg since high school, took the case personally. Greg wasn't the kind of man to just disappear, he told reporters. A search party was quickly organized. Volunteers combed the surrounding fields and wooded trails. His Buick was found 2 days later at the edge of Cedar Hollow Preserve. Doors locked, keys gone, no signs of struggle. The interior was immaculate, as if he'd just parked it to take a walk. But Greg didn't hike. The town buzzed with theories. A robbery gone wrong, a hitchhiker, maybe someone from out of town passing through. But nothing was missing from his home, and there were no signs of forced entry. As investigators dug into Greg's life, the first crack appeared in his carefully maintained image. A financial audit of his private accounting practice revealed discrepancies. Small at first, then more serious. Over the past 5 years, nearly $180,000 had gone unaccounted for from the accounts of several longtime clients, including the Windmere Volunteer Fire Department and the local Lutheran church. Had Greg been embezzling? It didn't make sense. He lived modestly, no flashy car, no vacations. His bank accounts didn't reflect any influx of cash. Then, detectives discovered a second phone, hidden in the bottom drawer of his desk, taped under a pile of old file folders. The phone held dozens of encrypted texts and money transfer receipts tied to a woman named Samantha Cross, a bartender from 2 towns over in Hawthorne. Samantha told investigators Greg had been helping her get out of a bad situation, but refused to elaborate. When pressed, she admitted Greg had loaned her over $40,000. She said he was kind but lonely. They'd shared drinks, even kissed once, but she insisted it wasn't a relationship. She hadn't seen him in weeks. With suspicion now hovering over his finances and his personal life, the investigation took a darker turn. Then came the break no one saw coming. A neighbor reported something odd. A light in Greg's garage had been flickering the night he disappeared. Sheriff Randall remembered that Greg rarely even used the garage. It was full of boxes and old furniture. A deeper forensic search revealed scuff marks on the concrete floor, drag marks barely visible. A small blood smear was found near the workbench. DNA confirmed it belonged to Greg. But even more puzzling, a partial palm print on the inside of the garage door. It matched Ethan Doyle, Greg's childhood best friend and fishing buddy. Ethan was Windmere's golden son turned recluse. After his divorce, he'd returned to town, renting a cabin near the lake. Locals said Greg had been helping Ethan get back on his feet. They were often seen having coffee at the diner. Nobody imagined him capable of violence. Ethan claimed he hadn't seen Greg that day, but GPS data from his phone placed him near Greg's house the night of the disappearance. His alibi crumbled. Under questioning, Ethan broke. He told investigators Greg had confessed to stealing the money, but not for himself. He had been laundering it for someone else. Delilah Marston, his assistant of 7 years. Delilah, who had painted herself as Greg's loyal employee, had a criminal record under a different name, Delilah Marston, for wire fraud and embezzlement in Arizona 10 years earlier. She changed her name after getting out of prison, moved to Windmere, and started fresh. According to Ethan, Greg discovered the truth 6 months earlier but didn't report her. Instead, He tried to quietly pay back the missing funds himself, hoping to protect her. But when the pressure mounted and money ran out, he told Ethan everything and threatened to go to the police. Ethan, furious that Greg had let things spiral, came over to confront him. "It wasn't supposed to happen like that," Ethan reportedly said. "We argued. He tried to walk away. I grabbed him. He hit his head." Greg's body was found buried behind Ethan's cabin, wrapped in a tarp with a rosary in his hand. Ethan Doyle was charged with second-degree murder. Lila Jensen, Delilah Marston, was arrested for fraud and identity theft. The town of Windmere was left stunned, not just by Greg's murder, but by how little they truly knew about the people they saw every day. A bench now sits outside the VFW hall with a plaque that reads, "In memory of Greg Halvorsen, a man who gave more than he took." Windmere learned the hard way that even in the quietest places, secrets can fester, and the most unassuming lives can unravel with a single lie.